Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silent Wisdom Online Satsang. Satsang is a great opportunity for all of us to connect and keep our levels of consciousness, awareness high. These are opportunities for us to discuss spiritual matters. And today, as I had shared, we are going to discuss the resurrection of Sri Yukteswar Giri ji as given in the book Autobiography of a Yogi. So I'll just give a little background. You all have heard of the book called Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramhansa Yogananda. And their Kriya Yoga spread far and wide because of that particular book. It is a very, very popular book. And in chapter 43 of that book, Paramhansa Yogananda ji has shared that after Sri Yukteswar Giri ji, who was his guru, he passed away, and 2 months after that, Paramhansa Yogananda ji was in Bombay, and Sri Yukteswar Giri ji appeared to him in flesh and blood 2 months after his death. Just like a normal person, he appeared to him, and he spent a few hours sharing many things about the astral worlds. And that is the information which is given over here. So it's very interesting. It's also a little bit technical. There's a lot actually there. And I will read some parts of it. I will not read all of it, some parts of it. I'll be reading certain parts, and I will also be sharing things, what I have understood and what I have learned, and some things which are of my own experience. I will share with you all. I'm sure there are many other people here who have some other experiences. If you feel like sharing something else that you have understood, please feel free to do so. So I'm starting with reading this. Sitting on my bed in the Bombay hotel at 3 o'clock in the afternoon of 19th June 1936, I was roused from my meditation by a beatific light. Before my open and astonished eyes, the whole room was transformed into a strange world. Waves of rapture engulfed me as I beheld the flesh and blood form of Sri Yukteswar. My son, Master spoke tenderly. Is it you, Master? The same? Are you wearing a body like the one I buried beneath the cruel Puri sands? Master said, Yes, my child, I am the same. This is a flesh and blood body. From cosmic atoms, I created an entirely new body, exactly like that physical body which you buried in Puri, in your dream world. I am in truth resurrected, not on earth, but on an astral planet. Its inhabitants are better able than earthly humanity to meet my lofty standards. There, you and your exalted loved ones shall someday come to be with me. I'm sure all of you would have understood. He's talking about that he has taken birth in another planet. Resurrection is again taken birth there. And now he's visiting Paramhansa Yogananda in a newly created body, which looks just like the physical body. So Yogananda ji tells him, Deathless Guru, tell me more. This is important. Listen to this. As prophets are sent on earth to help men work out their physical karma, so I have been directed by God to serve on an astral planet as a savior. Sri Yukteswar explained. It is called Hiranyaloka or Illumined astral planet. There I am aiding advanced beings to rid themselves of astral karma and thus attain liberation from astral rebirths. The dwellers on Hiranyaloka are highly developed spiritually. All of them had acquired in their last earth incarnation the meditation given power of consciously leaving their physical bodies at death. No one can enter Hiranyaloka unless he has passed on earth beyond the state of Sabikalpa Samadhi into the higher state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. I'll just pause over here. And in this entire chapter, although there are many things which are going to come which are so beautiful, I think this particular paragraph gives us the most important key. Okay? And what does it tell you? When he says, who are the people? How can you enter into Hiranyaloka? First, Hiranyaloka is one of the advanced astral planets or advanced astral realms, I may say. Because there are there are trillions of realms. I mean, trillion also is just a word that I'm using, a number I'm using. We don't know how many are there. So there are infinite number of them. And Hiranyaloka is a very advanced spiritual planet. And how does one enter there? So there Sri Yukteswar Giri has given the key. When you consciously leave physical bodies at death. This I found to be the most important thing for us spiritual seekers. I think for, when we are seeking a spiritual path, when we are walking on the spiritual path, what should be our goal? The goal should be that we leave when the death is going to happen for sure. There is no doubt about it. And whenever that happens, what needs to be done? That we are able to leave the body consciously. We are aware that we are leaving the body. And when we say leaving the body consciously, it does not mean that you are awake and you died. You are doing, let's say somebody was eating and died. Somebody was, like taking a bath and suddenly passed away. No, that is not dying in awareness. Not at all. It is like when the shift is happening, when you are actually leaving the body. What I have heard, of course, I will not know, but what I have heard is that even when the death happens, and even if people are busy in a particular activity, but the moment death approaches, you can say there's a slumber that takes over, or they faint, or they get into a dreaming world. They are not in awareness at all. You can compare it to sleep. Like, for some time, we are aware that we are just going to sleep. Like we are feeling very sleepy. We all have experienced this. And after that, suddenly we are not aware at all. We know we might be dreaming or something. Only when next day we get up in the morning, then we realize, oh, I was very sleepy. But being sleepy and falling asleep, in between that, what happened, we are not aware at all. Okay. So, if the purpose or if the goal of a spiritual seeker is to be aware, conscious, awake, completely being able to see the process that the death is happening, that you are moving out of this physical body. How is that? How are we going to achieve that goal? There are many other things here, but I think for us, if that is the goal, that is what we have to look at, then we need to work backwards from it. So, if I have to leave the body consciously at will at the time of the death, what will be a subsequent step that I need to be doing? That means that I should be able to, when I get into the sleep, from just waking to sleep, I should be awake and aware that I'm going into sleep. And that means I'm able to maintain my awareness during sleep as well. That will be the previous step. Being able to maintain awareness. What does that mean? The body needs to sleep. You don't need sleep. So the body would be sleeping, but you would be awake. That would be the previous step. How do we get into maintaining the awareness in the sleep? So we have to take one step before. So what is this one step behind this? That you are awake in your dreams. There is need to be awake during the time of dreams. That awareness that I am dreaming, what we call as lucid dreaming. Not that we are dreaming and we are lost in the dream. No, but having that awareness that I'm dreaming. And how is that going to come? Awareness in the dreaming? That means that I have to stay aware in my waking life as much as possible. 24, of course, 24 by 7 would include everything, but in all my waking time, I should be aware of who I am, not getting lost in the activities, not getting lost in whatever I'm doing, but being aware. And then how is that going to happen? That is going to happen through knowledge of who I am, isn't it? So knowing who I am and being established in that knowledge of who I am, that is how the awareness will stay in the waking state. And to get this knowledge, if we have to again come back to get this knowledge who I am, then we have to very religiously, sincerely, consistently follow the spiritual practice. Whatever path that we are on, whether it is path of knowledge, whether it is Kriya Yoga, whether it is another particular yoga path or any meditation path, whatever has been given to you by your guru, that is what you need to do. But the goal, the vision should be what for any spiritual seeker? That when you die, leave the body consciously. And if one leaves the body consciously, Sri Yukteswar Giri ji has given here very clearly, that is when you enter the Hiranyaloka. Another thing that he has mentioned here in the same paragraph that I read is, no one can enter Hiranyaloka unless he has passed on earth beyond the state of Sabikalpa Samadhi into the higher state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And he has also here given the definitions of both the Samadhis. So I will read that out. In Sabikalpa Samadhi, the devotee has attained realization of his oneness with spirit, but cannot maintain his cosmic consciousness except in the immobile trance state. So what is Sabikalpa Samadhi? When there is a trance state, an immobile trance state, what we call as an exotic experience, a moment when the mind stops or when there is no movement of the activity for some time and there is a trance state. That is the Sabikalpa Samadhi. And of course, one can be in the trance state without being in the Samadhi. So that's a different thing. But that is what it means here. Having realization of oneness with spirit in an immobile trance state. That is the Sabikalpa Samadhi. Now, what is he saying? By experience Sabikalpa Samadhi, can you enter Hiranyaloka? No. The answer is no. You have to get into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So what is Nirvikalpa? By continuous meditation, he reaches the superior state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, in which he may move freely in the world without any loss of God perception. So in the Sabikalpa, there is only a particular time that you have realization of that oneness. But in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, you continue with the work that you are doing in the world and yet remain in that oneness, yet remain with that consciousness. That is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And then he also says, although this kind of a seeker may still have certain astral and causal karma to work out, and therefore take astral and then causal births on high vibrational spheres. So it does not mean that all the karma is over. No, there still may be astral karma. But then the person, if you enter into Hiranyaloka, then there is no need to take birth on the earth as a human. That is what? You become free. You may decide to come. You may choose to come. That's a different thing. But you will not be bound to come back as a human. So Yukteswar Giri ji then said, when people reach Hiranyaloka, in order to free their souls fully from the traces of astral karma, these aspirants are drawn by cosmic law to be reborn in astral bodies in Hiranyaloka, where I am present to help them. So he is there. And then he says there are also nearly perfect beings on Hiranyaloka who have come from the superior causal world. So there are two kinds of souls over there. One who have now been freed from the earthly karma, who are entering into Hiranyaloka, and then even higher than Hiranyaloka or even higher than the astral lokas are what? The causal world. But in the causal world also there can be souls who they are nearly perfect, but they may still fall down. They may still have something. Like, for example, somebody in the astral realm can come back to the earth, may need to come back to the earth. Similarly, somebody may have moved to the causal realm, but needs to again come back to the astral. So, there, where will he go? He will go to the Hiranyaloka. If certain things get a little confusing here, don't worry, it's actually quite complicated. Then Sri Yukteswar Giri continues, you have read in the scriptures that God encased the human soul successively in three bodies. The idea or the causal body, or what we call as Karan Sharir in Hindi, the subtle astral body, seat of man's mental and emotional nature, what we call as the Sukshma Sharir, and the gross physical body, which is the Bhautik Sharir. So, a causal, astral, physical. Karan Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, Bhautik Sharir. On earth, a man is equipped with his physical senses. And now, those of you who understand the layers of the mind, it will be easy to follow this. That when we talk about the physical body, then what is happening? The experiences are happening through the physical senses. An astral being works with his consciousness and a body made of life-trons. Life-trons here means pran. So the astral bodies are made with pran. So when from the earth the souls have moved to the astral world, then they are living in a pranic body. There is no physical body over there, which of course has many more senses and there is more freedom there. And then the causal bodied. From the astral, when the souls move to the causal sphere, a causal body remains, a bodied being remains in the blissful realm of ideas. And he said, my work is with those astral beings who are preparing to enter the causal world. That is what he is helping them. Then Paramhansa Yogananda asked him, please tell me more about the astral cosmos. And then he shared, there are many astral planets teeming with astral beings, Master began. The inhabitants use astral planes or masses of light to travel from one planet to another faster than electricity and radioactive energies. Now I'll just pause here. So many astral planets teeming with astral beings. Now for us, some of us here, it could be all fiction, right? It could be like, really is something like this there? Well, if it seems like fiction, no problem with that. But there are people and there are also certain seekers in this group itself who are experiencing these things. That actually it is possible, and of course one has to do one's own experiments and check it out. But there are people who are visiting these different planets, going into these astral realms and meeting the astral beings as well. It is all happening. And if anybody wants, you can all work towards that. Okay, so Madhvi has asked a question. Is Hiranyalok is higher than astral world and lower to causal world? Absolutely, Madhvi. Right. So there are many astral realms in which Hiranyaloka is one of the highest astral realms. That is what is called. So within that, like, when we say astral, it does not mean that all of it is just high only. There are lower kind of astral beings as well, and Hiranyaloka is higher, but it is still lower to the causal world. Yes. And when Yukteswar Giri ji has decided to be in the Hiranyaloka to guide both kinds of souls, those who go from the earth, who have already completed their earthly journey, they have completed, he's all helping them also, plus those who come down from the causal world also. But this also tells us that he is free, right? Because if he can guide those in the causal world as well, that means he is already freed from all of these worlds. But he has decided, just like before that, he would have decided to be on earth and he was guiding souls here, the earthly beings. Now he's guiding astral and causal beings over there. Then he goes to share. Okay, Sanjay has a question. Is it right to say that the astral body doesn't undergo birth and death like a gross body in this plane? Very good question, Sanjay. Let me answer this. Okay, it will come. And in case it doesn't get answered, then I will definitely take it up. So when he's talking about the astral planets, Yukteswar Giri ji, he continues to say that the astral universe, made of various subtle vibrations of light and color, is 100 times larger than the material cosmos. The entire physical creation hangs like a little solid basket under the huge luminous balloon of the astral sphere. The astral day and night are longer than those of earth. The astral world is infinitely beautiful, clean, pure, and orderly. There are no dead planets or barren lands. There are no weeds, bacteria, insects, snakes. Unlike the variable climates and seasons of the earth, the astral planets maintain the even temperature of an eternal spring, with occasional luminous white snow and rain of many colored lights. The earth is dark with warfare and murder in the sea, land, and air, my Guru continued. But the astral realms know a happy harmony and equality. Astral beings dematerialize or materialize their forms at will. Flowers or fish or animals can change themselves for a time into astral men. All astral beings are free to assume any form and can easily commune together. No fixed, definite natural law hems them. Certain karmic restrictions are present, but there are no distinctions in the astral world about desirability of various forms. Everything is vibrant with God's creative light. Then he says, no one is born of woman. Offspring are materialized by astral beings through the help of their cosmic will into specially patterned astrally condensed forms. I think, Sanjay, you will be getting your answer over here. The recently physically disembodied being arrives in an astral family through invitation, drawn by similar mental and spiritual tendencies. So, Sanjay, yes, there are births and deaths in the astral body as well. Okay. And then in the astral realms also there are different kinds. Like when we spoke about Hiranyaloka here, it's not that every being who's going from here will enter Hiranyaloka. No. There are some who will go just temporarily into the astral world because you have passed away from here, you leave this earthly body, and depending on what time you will get, so one may go over there, come back to the earth again because one needs to complete the karma or fulfill the desires which are here in the physical body. But then there are some who may have completed the karma, still they may not directly enter into the Hiranyaloka. They may still be taking births in many other astral lokas before they can enter into Hiranyaloka. So what we find here, something very beautiful is that you don't have to, what we understand from here, you don't have to go step by step by step. That from earth you enter into the astral realms, then you take birth in the astral realm into another astral realm, and then go to Hiranyaloka. No. Even if you die consciously in awareness, you will enter into Hiranyaloka. So you bypass all those realms over there. Okay, Shivam has a question here. Can we change our form in our astral body? Yes, absolutely. That is what he has just shared. And there are also people who are doing astral projections, who are moving into the astral worlds, and they are actually experiencing it themselves. That when you are in the astral body, you can actually change that form also. You can take on any form when you are in the astral world. The astral body is not subject to cold or heat or other natural conditions. The anatomy includes an astral brain or the 1,000-petaled lotus of light and 6 awakened centers in the Sushumna or astral cerebrospinal axis. The heart draws cosmic energy as well as light from the astral brain and pumps it to the astral nerves and body cells or lifetrons. Astral beings are able to effect changes in their forms by lifetronic force and by holy mantric vibrations. So what did we understand over here? And I think we have been talking about it, that even now we have our astral body with us. When we talk about the 7 chakras, where are they? They are not in the physical body. They are part of the astral body. And many of us have experienced our chakras, and during times of meditation or otherwise, we feel the chakras. What does that mean? That actually you are experiencing your astral body. And in the astral world, that is the body that the soul is donning. The astral body where, and all these 7 chakras which are there. And through these 7 chakras, the use of pran, that is being energized. Like in the physical body here, we need food, water, air, oxygen. In the astral body, nothing like that is required. It is only made with the pran. Then Yukteswar Giri shared, unlike the physical world and the body, which only has 5 senses, the astral spheres have another sense, which is intuition. By sheer intuitional feeling, all astral beings see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. They possess 3 eyes, 2 of which are partly closed. The third and chief astral eye, vertically placed on the forehead, is open. Man's physical body is exposed to countless dangers and is easily hurt or maimed. The astral body may occasionally be cut or bruised, but is healed at once merely by willing. Then Yogananda ji asked him, Gurudev, are all astral people beautiful? See, we human beings, we give so much importance to beauty. So again, that question comes in. Even to Yogananda ji, that question is coming. And what did Yukteswar Giri ji answered? He said, beauty in the astral world is known to be a spiritual quality, not an outward confirmation. Astral beings attach little importance to features. They, however, have the privilege of costuming themselves at will with astrally materialized bodies. So just like we in the physical world wear, different dresses, in the astral world you can actually don a different form on any occasion. Shivam is saying win-win situation. Yes, absolutely. So you can take on any form that you like. You are not even bound by gender. You can become an animal. If you want, you can take on the form of an animal or a woman or a man or even age. So here Yukteswar Giri ji, another thing he mentioned, that generally what people take is whatever how they looked in the last human form, they are taking a younger form of that only. Generally, that is what people do. But he decided to keep his older form even there. So you can choose. You can take on a younger form, older form, any gender, any other animal also, if you have any favorite animal. So up to you. And just like we wear different dresses, wear different bodies over there. Then he goes on to say, friends of other lives easily recognize one another in the astral world. Rejoicing at the immortality of friendship, they realize the indestructibility of love, often doubted at the time of sad, delusive partings of earthly life. This is so inspiring that all the people that we may have lost in death, our loved ones, our friends, in the astral world, you go and meet everybody. You will get to see them. And they also recognize each other. You will also recognize. And you recognize that the soul is immortal always, right? So it was just in the dream that you felt that the person is no more. That particular person would be there and you'll be able to meet them. He says the intuition of astral beings pierces through the veil and observes human activities on earth. Now, this can also be a little scary, but no, not at all scary actually. That astral beings can easily look and see what the humans are doing. Okay, they can watch over us. What are we doing over here? But man cannot view the astral world unless his sixth sense is developed. And thousands of earth dwellers have momentarily glimpsed an astral being or an astral world. So you would have heard of many children or many people having, a sudden experience that have visions. I'm sure many of us here have also had a vision of the astral world or a glimpse of the astral world. And generally, children are able to see those astral worlds very easily, but nobody believes them. But once your intuition is developed, or if you are evolved to a particular level, one can also visit those astral worlds. But they can watch us all the time. Okay, Shivam is asking, where is soul? Very good question. Soul is always there. Okay, so soul is actually a term which has been defined differently by different masters in different traditions. But if we have to just take a very simple definition, soul, what we are saying over here, what is being meant by here is you, that you are, your reality. So we're just calling it soul, which is, or Atman, what we say, which is always there. So soul is there right now as well. Right now, your soul is encased in three bodies. And what we are aware of is the physical body. We have not even seen the astral body, right? We only are aware, we don't know what, we have never seen the soul. We have not seen the causal body or the astral body. All we know is this physical body. So what is being told is, the way we can understand, there is this physical body. Inside the physical body, at a more subtle level, is the astral body, very subtle. Inside the subtle body, there is much, much more subtler, which is the causal body. And inside that causal body is the soul. So when the freedom happens, how does it go? First, one gets free from the physical world. You get free of the earthly existence. So let go of the physical body. Then next step comes in letting go of the being free of the astral body. So even when you do not take what we call moksha on the earth, moksha what would mean? That you don't have to take human birth again. But you are still wearing two more bodies. In the astral world, you are wearing the astral body and the causal body. Then when you will rise spiritually advance, you will get finally be free from the astral body also. And you will move on to the causal body. And eventually you get free of the causal body as well. And then the soul is completely free. Some more of it will also come here, and I'm going to share that. I'll just read. Okay, Sanjay is saying soul is equal to causal body. No, soul is not causal body. Soul is encased in causal body. Graham is saying when going to sleep, when the sense of physical body falls away, the energy body feels like a set of colored channels crossing and meeting in geometric patterns. So, no arms and legs, is that an astral body or something like? Yes, that is an astral body. Absolutely. That is an astral experience. So, then Yukteswar Giriji says the earth liberated astral beings meet a multitude of relatives, fathers, mothers, wives, husbands, children, friends, acquired during different incarnations on earth. As they appear from time to time in various parts of the astral realms. He is therefore at a loss to understand whom to love, especially when you learn that it is a way to give equal love to all. Lord Buddha was once asked why a man should love all persons equally. Because the great teacher replied, in the very numerous and varied lifespans of each man, every other being has at one time or the another been dear to him. So here it feels that, oh, right now this is my family and these are the people that I love. But when you go to the astral realm, you realize, oh, there are so many, and in so many lifetimes, so you meet everybody over there. So whom to love especially? How many husbands and how many wives and how many sons and daughters and mothers and fathers would be there? So equally love all. He also says that you are able to recognize still if you have a desire to meet somebody specific, then you will easily be able to recognize in each other whatever costume they may be wearing. Like if even if they have taken on a different body or different form, you will still recognize them. How? He gives an example. Just like on earth, an actor's identity is discovered by close observation despite any disguise. Sometimes actors, they are taking on a different, the way they are looking, but still we always recognize. So there also, because of the astral body, whatever form they may have taken it, but you always recognize your loved ones. So now talking about the lifespan in the astral world, which is much longer than on the earth. Like on the earth, if we say a regular age can be anything from 60 to 100, on an astral realm, the life is about 500 to 1000 years in the earth here times, how we measure time here. So it is 500 to 1000. The astral beings do not have to contend painfully with death at the time of shedding luminous body. So there is also death for astral beings. Of course, if there is birth, there is death also. Many of these beings still feel slightly nervous at the thought of dropping their astral form for the causal one. So when just like we have a little fear of moving, leaving the physical body, although after the physical we are going into the astral body. Similarly, at astral level also there is a little nervousness. But the astral world is free from unwilling death, disease and old age. These three dreads are only the curse of earth, where man has allowed his consciousness to identify itself wholly with the physical body, requiring constant aid from air, food and sleep in order to exist at all. Okay, there's one more question from Shivam. So if one dies in physical body, the time keeps going for astral body. I didn't get your question. When you die in physical body, then the astral body continues. When we cannot use it, no, you continue with the astral body. You are already having that astral body. It is already here. It's like when you are wearing a costume. You are wearing clothes, right? So there is a physical body also, and you are wearing clothes also. But when you remove the clothes, you are naked, but the physical body is still there, correct? Similarly, when the physical body is removed at death, the astral body and the causal body are still there. Then even at the astral level, when the astral body is shed, the causal body is still there. So one is going from the grosser to the more subtler and subtler bodies, and from grosser to the subtler worlds. That is how it is happening. You are using your astral body all the time. You are using it even now. Except that right now your astral body is also covered with the physical body. That is the difference. Then Yogananda ji asked him, will you describe in detail the difference between rebirth on earth and in astral and causal spheres? Now, actually, there's a lot over here about it, and we may have to do a separate session on that. So I'm not getting into it. But few things that I liked here that I'm going to share for sure. So he said, see, the flesh body, the physical body is made of the objectified dream of the creator. There are dualities here on earth: disease and health, pain and pleasure, loss and gain. And what is holding this physical body? The power of unfulfilled desires is the root of all of man's slavery. We all have heard that, we know about it, and again, same thing it is being told. So what causes human birth? I think that is also a question we keep asking. It keeps coming time and again. Why do we take human birth? And here he has answered it so very clearly. The power of unfulfilled desires, where of the physical realm, is the root of all man's slavery. So as long as you have desires to do things on this earth, until then the birth keeps happening in the human form. The causal body and the astral body will keep on objectifying, will keep on solidifying the body to create the physical body over here. Then he says, astral desires center around enjoyment in terms of vibration. Now, even when you move into the astral world, are the desires not there? No, there also desires are there. So you will become free of the physical desires, but then the astral desires come in. Astral beings enjoy the ethereal music of the spheres. I don't know how many of you have heard about it. We call it the celestial music. And in India, we talk about Gandharvs and Kinnars. So it is supposed to be, the music is supposed to be extremely, extremely beautiful, and which catches you, which just attracts you a lot. So people get, like, here on the physical realm, you are getting attracted to things which are on the physical level. At the astral desires, they are about the music of the spheres, and there the souls are enchanted by the sight of all creation as exhaustless expressions of changing light. The astral beings also smell, taste, and touch light. Astral desires are thus connected with an astral being's power to see all objects and experiences as forms of light. I'll just repeat again. So why are we taking physical birth? The physical birth will keep on happening until there is unfulfilled desires connected with the sense pleasures, connected with the physical body, connected with the earth. So as we are conducting, we are going through this, we know that there have been times when, we have been attached to things here on the earth, whether it is relationships, whether it is possessions, and there are so many other people who would not be interested in any spiritual path or any spiritual talk because they are so busy enjoying happily the pleasures of the earth. So until the time they are enjoying the pleasures of the earth and they want them more and more, they will keep on coming back. Okay. So when we say taking on the spiritual paths, that means some of us who realize that no, I am done with this earthly existence, I have had enough, I don't want any more of it, I want to get out of here. And then you start having interest in the spiritual things. So what do? We rise ourselves, we do the practices, we rise ourselves, come out spiritually from the earthly existence. But then what is the next stop? The next stop is the astral world. Again, in the astral world, there are many, many interesting things. There is, those pleasures are much higher, even more higher than the physical world. So there, beings are going to get caught, and then they will have desires and keep on taking birth and rebirth at the astral realms. That is what happens. Then he goes on to share causal desires. So causal desires are fulfilled by perception. The nearly free beings who are encased only in the causal body see the whole universe as realization of the dream ideas of God. They can materialize anything and everything in sheer thought. So even after you have been freed from the physical, astral, and moved on to the causal, then you are almost free, almost free. And you can fulfill any desire over there. Causal beings therefore consider the enjoyment of physical sensations or astral delights as gross and suffocating to the soul's fine sensibilities. Now this is very interesting. Listen to this. See, like physical beings, maybe let's just take an example. There would be somebody who's very attracted to partying, okay, drinking alcohol, having good food, and partying right now, okay, which some of us over here may find very gross and completely untempting. We'll say, no, 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 we are not interested in that, okay. So what are we interested in? We are interested in, let's say, if we are meditating or we are having a nice experience, some, nice vibration is going on, we are hearing celestial music during our meditations. That is what interests us. So that would become more often moving towards the astral being. Now here what he is mentioning is that causal, when you move into the causal body, those causal beings, they find even these things which we are enjoying as gross. They even, at that level, even this is seen as very gross. And causal beings can work out their desires by materializing them instantly. If they have any desires, first though, they are already over these physical and astral desires. That's how they have moved on to the causal world. But even at that level, they are so free that if any desire comes in, they can fulfill it instantly. And here he has given the example of how Babaji helped Lahari Mahashay to rid himself of the subconscious desire from past life by materializing a golden palace for him. So that is what is done. That can be done at a causal level. Madhavi is saying, can we compare astral world to heaven? I think so, but here again, when we say astral world, it does not mean that all the astral world is heaven. No. So astral world, definitely some of the astral worlds or the astral realms are better than what they are on the earth. But then in astral, there are also evil and negative spirits. There are also negative astral worlds. Let me put it this way. Okay. But yes, when we talk about higher astral worlds, within that there would also be categorization. I don't even know. I'm just sharing broadly from what I have understood. That could be referred to as heaven. We could say that. Okay, Shivam is asking, how can we identify our subconscious desires? I will come back to it later. I'll just park this question right now. Now, what is Yukteswar Giri telling us? A soul, being invisible by nature, can be distinguished only by the presence of its body or bodies. This is a very important statement. I'm just reading it again. A soul, being invisible by nature, can only be distinguished by the presence of its body or bodies. The mere presence of a body signifies that Its existence is made possible by unfulfilled desires. You see? So soul is invisible. That is what he has said over here. So how, if the soul is existing, if the soul is manifesting, if there is an existence made possible, that means we are seeing a body. Either you are seeing a causal body or an astral, causal and astral body, or causal, astral and physical body. And what does that mean? That there are unfulfilled desires. So what does that tell us? If all of us are here in this human body, that means there are unfulfilled desires. And many times, although some of us may feel that, oh, all my desires are over, I have no more desires. If that would be really true, there wouldn't be this body at all. It is not possible to have a body if there are no desires. Impossible. He has made it very, very clear over here. Okay. So if we are in the physical realm, that means there are unfulfilled desires of the physical existence. After that, if you are in the astral world with the astral body, that means there are unfulfilled desires of the astral world, and finally of the causal as well, same way. So long as the soul of a man is encased in 1, 2, or 3 body containers, sealed tightly with the corks of ignorance and desires, he cannot merge with the sea of spirit. The mere presence of a body signifies that there are unfulfilled desires. Okay, it's about to be 10. Next question that he asked was to shed further light on the causal world. Now, there's a lot actually he has shared on the causal world, which is very interesting, but I think it will become too much to discuss right now. Already it's been a heavy session. So what I'm going to, maybe, we can do one more session on this to complete. I don't want to do all of it today. But what I do want to share is two more things. So in the end of the chapter, I'm just going there, where Yukteswar Giri ji says, I have now told you, my son Yogananda, the truth of my life, death, and resurrection. Grieve not for me, rather broadcast everywhere the story of my resurrection from the God-dreamed earth of men. Please remember this, God-dreamed earth of men to another God-dreamed planet of astrally garbed souls. Okay, so he's making it very clear that both are dreams. What is happening on this earth is also a dream, and what is happening on the astral. So earlier he was on the earth dream, now he's in the astral dream. However, he says, still do that, because new hope will be infused into the hearts of death-fearing dreamers of the world. So who are those people? He's talking about us. Death-fearing dreamers of the world. We are dreaming and fearing death over here. There is no need to do so. That is his message. That don't worry about the death. Either of those who have passed away, or of your own death, or the deaths which may happen on, because that is also a dream, and but they would still be moving on into the new dream world, which is the astral world, which he's talked about. And then finally he said, whosoever knows by Nirvikalpa Samadhi, we already spoke about that, whosoever knows by Nirvikalpa Samadhi that your earth is a dream of God, can come to the finer dream of Hiranyaloka. Isn't that so amazing? You can come from the dream of God, earth, to a finer dream of God, which is the Hiranyaloka. And how do we go there? How do we go there? Who remembers? If we have to enter Hiranyaloka, what do we have to do? Let me see how many people are listening. Okay, Sanjay's right. Exit in awareness. Yes, Madhvi is also right. To awareness during death. Anaya is also right. To leave the body consciously. Just before Yukteswar Giri ji, after giving Yogananda ji all the knowledge before leaving, that is what he said. Yes, Renu is also right. Leaving body in awareness. That whosoever knows by Nirvikalpa Samadhi that your earth is a dream of God can come to the finer dream of Hiranyaloka and will find me there. He's also said, will find me there. So we don't need to worry, even if we have a little ignorance left, we will have astral desires, not to worry. Guru is already there who's there to guide us. So I'm going to stop over here and we'll be happy to take on questions or anybody wants to share anything. Okay, now I'll just take on Shivam's question. How can we identify our subconscious desires? First, you have to identify your conscious desires. Are you identifying your conscious desires? And even in the conscious desires, what are your desires and what are the desires that have been given by others? It is very important to understand. Okay. Uh, it's not all the conscious desires are not ours. There are many which have been imposed by family, society, our friends, our peers. They are not our desires. And how do we know if they are not our desires? If you are working towards fulfilling those desires and you are not happy, okay, it feels like a struggle. For example, the desire is, oh, I must be earning a lot of money. I need to have a good house. I need to be able to travel wherever I want to. And to earn that money, I need to do a job. And when I am actually going and doing that job, I'm hating it. I don't like to do it at all. Every day I'm wondering why have I joined this organization? What am I doing over here? There is no fun. It's just a big compromise that I'm doing. But I feel no, I want that money to fulfill, these desires. Then that is not your desire. It is not yours. Remember that. Whenever the desire will be yours, you will be very happy to work towards it. And it will not even feel like work, it will feel like play. You will be looking forward to it. So it's not that all people hate doing their jobs. There are many, many people who love going to work. There are many people who are waiting, who are get up in the morning and just wait to go to office, go to work. That is their own desire. And when they are running after money or any particular thing. But if you are not enjoying it, then it is not your desire. Okay, so first be aware of your conscious desires. Once you are clear on what your conscious desires are there, then the subconscious desires will also arise. You will get to know them. It's a process. Okay, Naina is saying, I did ask this question about one of my desire. Is it mine or not? Do I really want this for me? Gave me misery for many years. Yes, yes. It is very, very important, actually. And we don't even realize until we come on a path that, the desires that I think are mine are not even mine. It's such a tragedy. And why do we, like Guruji is very clear on this. He says, even with those unfulfilled desires, why do we have to keep coming back again and again? Because let's say you come to this earth, you take birth, you have one desire. There is one particular desire that you want to fulfill. But once you come here, there are many desires which get imposed on you by the society. And you start running after them and you start getting to fulfill those desires. And that one desire which you had come to fulfill, that still remains unfulfilled. So, and plus you have added these many more which were not even yours. So it is a never ending cycle. So how are we going to end it? Clearly, by first checking Because what is making us take birth here? It is the unfulfilled desires. So even those things which I am desiring, do I really want them? Are they my own? Or am I have just taken on so much of burden on my head without, and then I come to realize, oh, I didn't even want this, right? So that's a very, very important thing to do. Always remember this one thing: whatever your desire will be like, when you have come here for this session, for this satsang, it is by your own will. I'm sure there is nothing which others have imposed that you need to do it. So when we take on a spiritual path, we take on with our own desire, our own intention, not because somebody else imposes us. But yes, maybe when you go to temple or church or a religious place, when others take you or the families take you, that's a very different thing. Maybe you don't even want to go. Even as kids, we know there are many places we didn't want to go where our parents took us. So are we going by our own volition or are being forced into it? And if we are coming on the spiritual path, we should use our intellect, our intelligence to be able to cut through all those things that we don't want in our life. The problem is we are carrying too much of unnecessary burden on our head. Too much. But just realizing this, realizing that we are carrying this unnecessary burden takes lifetimes. I hope the session was at least somewhat clear, if not everything was clear today. And I hope you learned something and it inspired you. My whole idea of doing the session, this particular session, is that we all make our goal to leave body in awareness when death comes. That should be our purpose, and we should be working towards it. So, thank you so much for joining in. Stay in awareness, keep doing your spiritual practices, because it is going to be one step after the other. We have to take one step and then another step until we reach that particular point, which is our goal. So, thank you, and I'm going to see you again next week.